focus and talk about the Prime Minister himself, who is all set to pay a two-day visit to the United States of America, which is expected to happen on the 13th and 14th of this month. This will be the first bilateral engagement of their respective fresh terms for the two heads of state. Now, when it comes to, as they gear up to hold wide-ranging talks, the Prime Minister will be among a very handful of those foreign leaders who would be traveling to Washington, D.C. on a bilateral visit within weeks after Trump administration took office. The first indication of this visit came that when two leaders had a phone call last Monday. The White House read out after this interaction saying that the leaders discussed plans for the Prime Minister's upcoming visit. And Trump also told reporters after the call that the Prime Minister of India was likely to visit the United States sometime in February. Now, India has been eager for an early engagement between the two countries and also hoping that their strong personal rapport would also help establish a foundation for deeper collaboration, especially at a time when there is a lot of skepticism around Trump's policies. Now, the new U.S. administration, which has already begun implementing measures such as raising tariffs and cracking down on illegal immigration, India has managed to stay out of the tariff war so far, but there are over 725,000 illegal Indian immigrants in the U.S., making the meeting crucial for laying out the roadmap for future cooperation and also relying on the bonhomie and the personal rapport that the two leaders share. Let's get in a word from Shinjo, who is joining us live right now. Shinjo, good morning. Likely dates of the Prime Minister's visit are now out. However, this seems to be within a month of Donald Trump taking office. One of the few handful of the leaders there, this engagement that would be taking place between India and the U.S.
It only makes sense for Prime Minister Modi to get to Washington right after his visit to Paris. And it's a clear opportunity to meet President Trump. And because America and India have such a broad-based relationship and such a strong relationship, that these few incidents can be sorted out very quick, whether it's visa, whether it's illegal immigration, whether it's other like tariff. So all of these things can be sorted out and sorted out quickly. So the earlier the Prime Minister and the President meet, and the earlier they get to sort all these things out, it will be much easier. And also, let's not forget announcements that will be forthcoming. First of all, an Indian astronaut will be on an American spaceship in a few weeks. Now, that announcement will be made by President and Prime Minister Modi when they are in Washington. So that will be a big step as far as India and America is concerned, as far as the bilateral ties are concerned. Then there are economic issues, strategic issues, defense-related issues. There is a lot happening between the two countries.
Well, that's the point there. But even when it comes to the issues that are now at hand, the priorities that India would like to take over take up with the U.S. President Donald Trump, because we have seen the tariff wars that has been taking place. India, for now, that has been exempted. Of course, that is also being seen levied on China as well. 10% of those tariff wars that have now indicated. What does it mean for India? Because here he has been calling, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, as a very close friend. Of course, this is when it comes to boosting Indian economy, and the budget that has just been read out by the Union Finance Minister recently, Shinjoy. What does it mean financially and trade-wise for India?
Well, tariffs have to be negotiated. First of all, we will have to know whether America wants tariffs on Indian exports. If it does, then by how much? Because there have been a lot of idle talk about having action against BRICS countries and so on. Now, BRICS countries are a very different kind. Well, you have on one hand, as far as America is concerned, China and Russia. And on the other hand, you have India, which, despite being a BRICS country, remains a very close friend. So India has good relations with Russia, and India has very good relations with America. Now, this is something Trump is aware of. This is something the Americans know about. So even when all these things are said about BRICS countries, it doesn't
Well,
really
he'd already issued a
mean
warning regarding if there is any currency that they would come up with, and then there would be consequences as far as Donald Trump has already issued that warning to the BRIC nations. Let's continue to be with us, Srinjoy, because we also talk about the political angle back home, which has now been raised by the leader of opposition in the House. Rahul Gandhi alleging that the Prime Minister tried to use External Affairs Minister to secure an invite into Trump's coronation, as he said, as president, suggesting that the minister's visit to Washington in December was to manage an invite first. Rahul Gandhi said that he wouldn't send out a foreign minister to get our prime minister invited to the US president's coronation. In a sharp retort, Dr. S. Jaishankar has accused Rahul Gandhi of resorting to falsehood. The external affairs minister said that he visited the US to meet the Secretary of State Anthony Blinken then and NSA Jake Sullivan, as well as to chair a meeting of the India Councils General, and asserting that there was no stage of an invitation in respect of the Prime Minister being discussed. Here is what Rahul Gandhi alleging, and of course seeking an apology for it.
When we talk to the United States, we would not send our foreign minister to invite our Prime Minister to his coronation. We would not send him 3 or 4 times, please invite our Prime Minister. Because if we had a production system and if we were working on these technologies, the American president would come here and invite the Prime Minister. So it is important to understand where
foreign policy. Leader of opposition cannot make such serious, unsubstantiated statement. This is related to the relation between two countries. And he is making an unverified statement about invitation of the Prime Minister of our country. It's matter of our dignity. How can you make such kind of statement? He's leader of opposition, sir. He should be responsible in making such statement.
LOP is giving us very positive suggestions. Why they are worried, sir? For the country, he is giving.
Leader of opposition has the information from any official source. He must inform the House. If leader of opposition has the information, please inform the House.
Okay.
Who has told you that foreign minister was visited for the purpose which you have mentioned? You must specify it.
So, I'm sorry that disturbed you, that question. I apologize for disturbing your peace of mind.